Circle back. Circle back.
Happy Friday morning! We're so sad. We're so sad. We're an optimistic show. We love our audience here. We love the energy. We love the passion. We love the people. And we love the memories, the sweet memories. It feels like the end of an era as Chucky will go on off into the distance, fading and vanishing to sharpen her knives and sharpen her lies on MSNBC for what will undoubtedly be the Circle Back show. Ladies and gentlemen, the end of an era. Jen Sockathon quit last night. She is out at the White House. You may never see her behind the press podium again. Some of you may be rejoicing. We are weeping. We're crying on the Betty Show. We're so sad about it. What will become of our memes? What will become of our viral clips? How will we write our headlines? Jen Sockathon bursts into volcanic explosion as meteorite shoots from her eyes into Peter Doocy. He blocks it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are sad here. We are mourning the loss of Chucky. We are mourning the loss of Jen Sockathon. She quit last night. She said her last day in the Biden White House as the regime commissar, the real Ministry of Truth. She is leaving next week, and she announced her successor. Her successor is named Karine Jean-Pierre. We'll have to create totally new meme templates. Peppermint Patty, out of here. So sad. Are you mourning with me? Let me know. Tell me in the comments right now if you're watching this. What are you thinking? Are you sad about it? Are you happy about it? We're hearing it from all over the place. We make memes on this channel. We make fun of the left. We loved the caricature that we made of Jen Sockathon. Luckily, Jen Sockathon not going away, probably going to MSNBC according to reports, so we'll follow her career there. But are you sad about it? Let us know. We want to hear what you have to think, and we read the comments, and we love the Peppermint Patty, Chucky, the caricature that we've created of Jen Sockathon. The memes have been extraordinary, and if you want to celebrate with us, if you want to celebrate memes with us, please go to our Parlor page. That's right, we are partnering with Parlor. Free speech lives on Parlor. They're back up after the libs tried to cancel them, like Donald Trump, like a lot of good things. We fight back, we remake, and on Parlor, we're launching our official show exclusively to Parlor, The Left Can't Meme, where we do only memes. We do meme reviews, and we have our premiere episode today. So head on over to Parlor, activate or reactivate your account. We have a couple 100,000 followers on there. We're jumping, we're jiving, we're hanging out. Candace Owens is on there with her own exclusive show. It's free speech, and it's memes you couldn't get here, you couldn't get on YouTube. You'd be banned. Boom. Instant hammer ban if you were to share these memes anywhere else. And we share the memes because we like to laugh. And we make fun of Jen Sockathon because we like to laugh. Jen Sockathon, we get it. We get it. You're like a snippy, snipey, angry feminist. You hate the right. You love to lie on behalf of Joe Biden. And we actually, in a weird, dark, inverse way, respect you for that. Here's why. And this is me reaching into the depths of my simple Christian soul and stating this. Jen Sockathon had the hardest job probably on planet Earth. My wife and I talk about this a lot. Could you imagine interpreter for Joe Biden? That's what she is. She's the interpreter for, you know, the other day, I was out on my yacht with Superman and FDR, and we were wanting to pass the bibbly boop and the bobbity bop, and Vladimir Putin had a pooty poo poo. Poo? Did I do poo poo? Did I poo poo? That's what Joe Biden, and then that's his border policy, right? So then they put that in as his official border policy, they tweet it, and then Jen Psaki has to go out and defend that kind of a comment, right? So that's what Joe Biden says to the press. Jen Psaki has to come out and Rumpelstiltskin that thing. She has to spin straw into gold. Dementia straw, okay, into the fine red, golden hair that sprung from her dyed roots, ladies and gentlemen. Fox News reporting that Jen Psaki will be leaving. Let's read the full report, and then we have a very special episode for you. We are devoting our entire episode today to the Jen Sockathon. We're calling this Jen Sockathon 2022. We are going to go through Jen's most volcanic meltdowns. You do not want to miss it, and vote at the end of the show. Watch the whole show, vote at the end of the show. We've been doing research for 24 hours straight. We didn't sleep last night. We went straight into research mode. We got our best Jen Psaki clips. You don't even, some of these I forgot about. They're so good. We were crying putting this show together. We have memes for you. We have laughs. You'll cry, and you'll say to yourself, wow, I did not know that child star Pippi Longstocking would have such a successful career in politics. That's what you'll say at the end of this show. I am proud to announce that Karine Jean-Pierre will serve as the next White House press secretary, Jen Psaki announced on Twitter. Karine not only brings the experience and talent and integrity needed for the difficult job, but she'll continue to lead in a way communicating the Biden-Harris administration on behalf of the American people. Okay, great. We've seen Karine Jean-Pierre. We're not trying to dunk on her just yet, but she has gone out and done a couple of press conferences, and not ready for prime time. Got to tell you, this is not going to be great. Not going to be very good. We're looking forward. We're looking forward to this new era. I want to say thank you to Jen for raising the bar, communicating directly and truthfully with the American people, Biden said, of course, through a spokesperson. Biden was asleep with applesauce dribbling down his mouth. I thank Jen for her service to the country and wish her the very best as she moves forward. He said that she restored a sense of honor to the press secretary position. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, would you prefer Kayleigh McEnany or Sarah Huckabee Sanders or Jen Psaki? You answer the question. Let us know in the comments. Boy, howdy, do I remember a sweet, sweet Sarah Sanders and a just completely kick-ass Kayleigh McEnany. Man, those were great press conferences. I miss them. I miss the two of them. And in a very dark and weird, cynical way, I will miss Jen Psaki. And I'll especially miss moments like this, ladies and gentlemen, so get prepared. That's the news. Jen Psaki announced it. We read it. Jen's gone after a year and a half. She's leaving on May 13th. That's next week. So see ya. Bye, Jen. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, on your way to MSNBC, and it should also be stated that Jen Psaki was using her position as the White House press secretary to insult Fox News, one of her competitors. This should be unethical and illegal. She should be sued or fined for this, but whatever. Jen Psaki, on the way out, we will miss her in the darkest of recesses of our hearts because of clips like this. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday, Peter Doocy had his perhaps final raconteur with Jen Psaki, and Pippi Longstocking did not disappoint. Peter Doocy, take it away.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. Sorry to see you go.
Are you?
Yes, and you've always been a good sport.
Thank you.
So
As
on
have you.
behalf of everybody, thank you
Thank
for
you.
everything.
Thank you,
And
Peter.
can't wait to see you up there, Kareem. So.
Okay, so Jen Psaki, are you actually happy to see me go? Jen Psaki, Peter Doocy has been one for the ages. Gotta say, it is so pathetic to watch libs sit there and essentially go like attack dogs, like rabid, feral hogs after the Sarah Sanderses and Kayleigh McEnany's of the world. Do you remember like how they would scream and how they would wail and how they would rend their garments in the press room? How it was like theater, kids, performance art for like the Xanax crowd, right? Like Jim Acosta crying and screaming from his little seat there in the front, and various reporters like screaming, April Ryan yelling and sobbing and crying, and everyone, like the entire White House press room was a mess, and they would all say they're defending democracy, Where did it all go? Where did all that go? Now every single question in the press room is like, pretty please, does Joe Biden like the Charmin Ultra for his bathroom tissue? or double ply? Like, those are the kind of questions now, and they're asking these little mousy voices, and then when they're done asking the questions, they put their head down and like subserviently. It's so pathetic. Peter Doocy is the only person who asks real questions, and he's the only he's always very respectful, but he's always asking questions that the American people want to know about in the White House, and it leads to incredible moments where people like Jen Psaki, who are not used to being challenged, right? Remember, these people are Soviets. They don't want to be challenged. They want their ministry of truth, and they don't want anyone to ever question what they have to say. Here is what happens when Jen Psaki gets questioned. Sean Hannity had a wonderful little montage for us. We thought we'd play it for you.
Welcome to Hannity, and tonight it is official, the most arrogant, dishonest press secretary in modern American history. She will soon be gone in a little over a week. Chief propagandist, circle-back Jen Psaki will step down after reportedly negotiating a big new contract with NBC News, the former home of Lying Brian. Anyway, I'm sure Psaki will feel right at home at the Conspiracy Channel network. And coming up, we're going to give her a proper and very special send-off. Jen, I hope you'll circle back with us and watch later.
Okay. All right. So Hannity preparing to go after Jen as she enters the corporate media space, because of course she will. There is just a clown-like style merry-go-round between corporate media and between the Democrat Party apparatchiks. It is really, really embarrassing, the revolving door. There is no difference between these people, and it's why the corporate press are losing all of their viewers, and people are coming to go watch our show, and we appreciate all of you for tuning in. So what is our next favorite Jen Psaki moment? Well, Jen Psaki spent a lot of time lying on behalf of Joe Biden, and quite frankly, again, respect where it's due. She is a great liar, and she had the hardest job in America. We're going to straight up put our cards on the table and try and it's Friday, we're in a happy mood, we want to reach into our little Christian souls and say, hey, Jen, if we're going to give you a compliment, here's the compliment. You had the hardest job in America. We could not imagine having to translate on behalf of Joe Biden. And you know what? Jen Psaki also couldn't imagine having to translate on behalf of Joe Biden. Here's Jen Psaki in 2019, before she got the job as Joe Biden translator and chief propagandist, saying Joe Biden may be not the best candidate for us because he doesn't have a brain stem and because he doesn't have a mouth that speaks English language. Jen Psaki, before she was getting paid, take it away.
Does it concern you at all? It seems like another record player moment, kind of.
Yeah, look, there have been a number of moments where even those of us who have affection for Vice President Biden think, what on earth is happening right now?
Yeah, all right. What on earth is happening right now? Whenever Joe Biden opens his mouth, Jen Psaki straight up admitting that everybody cringes and goes, please no. Please no. What are you saying? What on earth is happening right now? But Jen Psaki, a glutton for punishment and the dominatrix for disinformation, making sure that she inflicted maximum pain on the rest of us as she tried to translate for Joe Biden. Here's how that went, ladies and gentlemen. Check out this montage. Circle back, montage. The original Jen Psaki meme. Jen Psaki not knowing what to say or not knowing how to do her job, knowing that she wouldn't be able to translate for Joe Biden. Before she really got the training wheels off, here's what Jen Psaki said every press conference.
A little bit about why. A lot of it has to do with Vladimir Putin. It's broadly known and wide. I'll circle back if there's more I can share with you. I'll circle back with you if there's more to convey. I'll have to just circle back with you. We can circle back with you. I'm happy to circle back with you. I can circle back. I will have to circle back on that one. That's an excellent question. Oh, such an important question. We will circle back with you, and we'll circle back with you. It's an interesting question, but we'll circle back. I'm happy to circle back, but I'll have to circle back with you on it. It's a good question, but we'll circle back with you on this today. We will certainly circle back with you more direct.
We are huge fans of the Circle Back Psaki. Jen Psaki knew that she was being made a meme of, and so she stopped saying circle back, unfortunately. You can, if you're listening to the press conferences, you can tell that she is very sensitive to this, and she understood that she was being memed over this and made fun of. So she came up with other clever ways to say circle back without saying circle back. Oh, Jen, you do watch our memes, don't you? You do see our memes, don't you? We know you do. We know you do. Jen Psaki often talked about censoring Facebook channels and censoring various users on social media. She used to work for a PR firm that has very close connections to the tech world, and so she spent all of her time staring at our memes and probably laughing before calling to get our pages banned. But, ladies and gentlemen, we were the ones laughing when Jen Psaki finally had to answer a circle back. That's right. During one exceptional moment, Jen Psaki was forced to answer a circle back. She was forced to circle back on her own circle back, and the inversion created a star nebula rip in the space-time continuum, and it just went check it out.
Groups be used at vaccination centers when they get stood up across the country. Does the White House support that request?
I did ask our team about this. You or someone else may have asked about this the other day, and I think I have something on it here. One moment. Thanks for your patience. Lots to say about COVID, no doubt about it. Let's see. Let me talk to our team about it.
Oh, so sad, Jen. Jen, we're so sorry. I mean, when she's like sitting there and she's flipping and she's flipping and she's flipping and she's flipping and she's like, I don't know. And you remember Kayleigh McEnany. I don't think that we have the clip for this show, too bad, but there's a Kayleigh McEnany clip that's so good, where she just always came correct. She would slap this binder down on the table, and she'd just go, whap! And she'd just say, like, she'd just be like, what did you say? And she's flipping through her notebook, and it's meticulously organized, and she's hammering people with their own publications and their own headlines, and it's just incredible. There was one about the coronavirus pandemic, and she just cited like 15 different articles from the New York Times and the Washington Post off the top of her head. Amazing. It's a great meme from The Simpsons where there's a reporter who's Ralph Wiggum on the back of the bus, and whenever Kayleigh McEnany starts flipping through her binder, Ralph Wiggum's chuckling, I'm in danger, because you knew Kayleigh would come correct, but Jen Psaki never really came correct, ladies and gentlemen. She spent her time circling back, and she also spent her time lying to the American people. There's so many lies that we could pull out from Jen Psaki. There are so many lies. The entire show, we could go on for the next 47 hours detailing all of Jen Psaki's empirical lies to the American people. But we thought that the ones that we should highlight are the ones that were actually particularly egregious as they pertained to the loss of American lives, as they pertain to lying on behalf of a regime that clearly doesn't care about our service members and clearly doesn't care about you. And the most egregious example of that is Afghanistan. Jen Psaki lying about Afghanistan during that disaster, which, I don't know, man, is that the most disastrous thing that happened in the Biden regime so far? Is it worse than inflation? Is it worse than the open border? You decide. I guess it depends on what issue you care the most about. Is it worse than saber rattling with a nuclear power Russia? There's so many bad things that have happened in the Biden regime, it's hard to say. We, however, are particularly furious about Afghanistan. We are so angry about how the fake news corporate press and their fact checkers came after us for saying that Joe Biden wasn't checking his watch during the dignified transfer of these soldiers back to their families. We were enraged at how the corporate press essentially balkanized in order to attack the Gold Star families here in Afghanistan, and it all emanated from Jen Psaki's lies. And this, hard to argue that this wouldn't be one of the chief, most disgraceful lies of Jen Psaki's reign of terror and Pinocchio-level nose enlargement as White House press secretary. Check out this whopper on Joe Biden's Afghanistan, his successful Afghanistan withdrawal. Check it out.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Jen. Is there any concern that maybe trying to reach this deadline and get everybody out, mistakes are being made now that there is a report that at least one of the Afghans evacuated to Qatar has suspected ISIS ties?
Well, first I would say we have a stringent vetting process which includes background checks before any individual comes to the United States. So I can't speak to one individual, but I can tell you and confirm for you that we take the vetting of any individual who comes to the United States and comes out incredibly seriously. And it's an extensive process. I would say that this is now on track, Peter, to be the largest airlift in U.S. history. And that is bringing American citizens out. It is bringing our Afghan partners out. It is bringing allies out. So no, I would not say that is anything but a success.
Okay, and I know that you...
Well, that's interesting. We've spoken with a number of the families who lost their family members, their young men and women who served in our military, who they sent off to fight for what should be a competent mission and people who wish to save their lives and keep them safe, and those families received their loved ones back in a flag-draped casket because of the decisions of Jen Psaki and the people who she is a spokesperson for. Ladies and gentlemen, there are tragedies in every administration. The story of America over the last 250 years has been fighting with our blood and with our honor for this country. But the thing that you can only hope for if you have a member of your family in the armed services, which I do have multiple members of my family in the armed services right now at this very second, is that they are going to be deployed in a way that is responsible and is not so haphazard and so ass backwards that they get put in danger unnecessarily, which is precisely what happened there in Afghanistan. So you can imagine, and we don't have to imagine because we've interviewed these Gold Star families who lost their service members in Afghanistan during the withdrawal. There's hundreds of families, thousands of families who lost service members over the course of the Afghanistan war, 20 years plus. But in the chaotic and ham-handed and suicidal pullout from Afghanistan that was utterly botched by the Biden regime, there were 13 service members who lost their lives inside of a terrorist attack, and their families deserve better. Jen Psaki sitting there saying that it was anything but a success. That's right, the largest airlift in U.S. history. She's calling the Afghanistan pullout anything but a success. Could you imagine losing your family member in Afghanistan? Maybe you're watching this and you don't have to. There are many Gold Star parents out there, and we say thank you, and we just could not imagine your pain and your suffering. But the insult to have the press secretary, the snipey little spokesperson, saying that it's a success to have your family member blown up, ladies and gentlemen, it's evil. And this is why we can laugh and we can make memes and we can joke about Jen Psaki and make fun of her, but there's a deadly serious part to her job, and she was terrible at that part of her job, and it goes all the way up to the top because Joe Biden was, of course, terrible at this job. You remember him going back and forth and lying. He said that there wouldn't be a Vietnam-style withdrawal in Afghanistan. You wouldn't have the chaos that we saw. You had people clinging to planes as they're taking off, the death, the destruction, the evil, and it was not just visited on the Afghan people, but visited now on American families, and we all were waiting for the disaster to come home, and it finally did. And when those caskets rolled off the plane, Joe Biden was left looking at his watch. That's right, those Gold Star family members said that Joe Biden was staring at his watch and that Joe Biden was getting upset with them behind the scenes. What a complete jackass, what a monster this man is. Such a disgrace to the office that he holds. It really does get my heart rate up, I gotta tell you, thinking back through this. It's rounding the corner on a year. I think this was last July, last August, but you can see in the polling, not that we need to be just bluntly political here, but you can watch in the polling how after Afghanistan, that just created that was the moment that the veneer of Joe Biden being the humble and soft-spoken statesman, right, the man of norms and foreign policy expertise, that was when the veneer was completely ripped off and stripped off him, and it wasn't assisted in any part by Jen Psaki stating that the entire mission was a success. Anything but a success. Goodness gracious, there are a lot of families with tears in their eyes who will never ever see their children again. Some of these young people were like 18 years old, 17 years old. Incredible. And it's disgusting the way that these apparatchiks like talked through their loss because they called it a success. And when it was inconvenient to them, they looked at their watches and then they just moved on. Well, there's a lot of families who have folded flags sitting over their mantel places and fireplaces, and those folded flags will never move on. Shame on Jen Psaki and shame on Joe Biden for that. If there was someone who actually brought shame on Jen Psaki, it was absolutely Peter Doocy in the White House. There's only one person who really took the time to shame Jen Psaki and shame this administration and shame them for the moments of just complete confounding idiocy. For instance, you may say that Afghanistan is the thing that made your blood boil the very most inside of the last year and a half. But many would also say that the immigration policy of the administration is something that is going to make their blood boil as well. You could argue that this is the greatest threat to the homeland. Afghanistan may have been the greatest threat to our service members abroad, but the greatest threat to our homeland is the open border policy and the confounding policy of COVID during the last year and a half. They forced you, or wished to force you, the Supreme Court had to rule against it, but they wished to force you, ladies and gentlemen, to get a vaccine in order to work at your job. They wanted to mask your children in order to have them fly or go to school. These people are monsters. Yet, if you were to ask for those same rules to be applied at the border, meaning you would have to get the COVID vaccine to come into this country, or you'd have to mask to come into this country and so on, or you just shut down the border because you can't control the number of people who are coming from the third world and who knows what diseases they may carry into this country. This is an incredibly rational thing, and maybe it's not disease. We know for a fact that terrorists have entered this country, tying it all into Afghanistan. You've had terrorists and people who are on the terrorist watch list enter our country through the southern border. Insanity. We have so many Peter Doocy versus Jen Psaki clips. We'd be here for the next 47 hours. We'd be here well into Sunday morning if we wanted to play you all of our favorites. So we had to pick, and if we were going to pick, we had to pick the one where Peter Doocy said, "Hey, Jen."
And then why is it that you're trying to require anybody with a job or anybody who goes to school to get the COVID-19 vaccine, but you are not requiring that of migrants that continue walking across the southern border into the country?
Well, look, our objective is to get as many people vaccinated across the country as humanly possible. And so the president's announcement yesterday was an effort to empower businesses, to give businesses the tools to protect their workforces. That's exactly what we did. But certainly we want everybody to get vaccinated, and more people are vaccinated, whether they are migrants or whether they are workers, protects more people in the United States.
But it's a requirement for people at a business with more than 100 people. It is not a requirement for migrants at the southern border. Why?
That's correct. Go ahead.
Got it. That's correct. Okay, got it. So illegal criminal migrants who enter into our country, they get a free pass for the vaccine mandate. They get a free pass for all of the COVID protocols. But you, the native-born American, have to live under our biosecurity medical state tyranny. Got it. Great. It is amazing. We can laugh a lot about Jen Psaki, but these people are truly vindictive, evil little communists, and they hate you. That's been made very, very clear time and time again by Jen Psaki, saying things like, hey, if you hate high gas prices, working blue-collar Americans, buy an electric car. Go.
Just one more about electric vehicles. You guys are pushing electric vehicles today. This is a president who always talks about the power of our example. Mm-hmm. Does he own an electric vehicle?
Presidents of the United States don't do a lot of driving.
He's posted videos where he's revving the engine of his Corvette in Wilmington. He owns cars.
And he also has driven electric vehicles as president, as to give a model to the rest of the country.
Does he own one?
I think the president's record on this is clear, Peter. Presidents of the United States, current and when they are no longer, typically are not doing a lot of driving. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, got it. So you need to drive an electric car. You need to buy a $70,000 Tesla because you can't afford gasoline. That's totally rational for all Americans. And because we've destroyed the economy, because we have bungled and ruined this nation and our oil supply and killed the Keystone XL pipeline and started a war with Russia, well, then you are going to suffer. And now this is a wonderful opportunity for us to get America off oil and fossil fuels. Got it. Remember, they care about you, the working person. Lunch Pail Joe, Scranton Joe, totally cares about you. There was a moment when Jen Psaki was finally called out, and we wanted to end our favorite Jen Psaki clips with this moment. It's not specifically a Jen Psaki clip, it's about Jen Psaki. Jen Psaki was responding to the hysterical adult children, diaper wearers of the left. They were crying and wailing and rending their garments and gnashing their teeth in the streets because, well, the next thing. What's the next outrage? The outrage a couple months ago. The outrage now is Roe v. Wade. The outrage just a few weeks ago was Joe Manchin killing their voter fraud forever bill, which is what Republicans should have called it, but Republicans are so terrible at branding and nomenclature, they didn't come up with that. But voter fraud forever was what they called the Build Back Better bill, and they were going to federalize elections forever. This would have put Nancy Pelosi in charge of your ballot, your vote. And so, no, ladies and gentlemen, not a good plan. Not a good plan, and it was killed graciously and thankfully by Joe Manchin and Kristen Sinema, and they maintained the filibuster, and thank God for them. They're going to try this all over again next week. We'll see what happens, but they're going to try and codify the right to an abortion in the federal Constitution. That's going to go super well for them, and it's not going well for them at all when this moment was lost as people began to have an antibody reaction to Jen Psaki and her administration. She said, well, if you're this upset, why don't you go kickboxing? And why don't you go grab yourself a margarita? That's right. Get yourself a margarita, get yourself a little kickboxing class, and take a breath. Probably some good advice, but was really funny when Jen said it. Far more funny when Ron DeSantis decided to go full Daddy DeSavage on her and roast. Take it away, Ron.
So my advice to everyone out there who's frustrated, sad, angry, pissed off, feel those emotions, go to a kickboxing class, have a margarita, do whatever you need to do this weekend, and then wake up on Monday morning, we got to keep fighting.
Having a margarita is well and good, but it is not a cure for Bidenflation.
More videos like that, Ron. We want more videos like that, and we wanted to end on a happy note because, quite frankly, like, you can either laugh or you can cry, right? You can either laugh or you can cry. You can ridicule these people, and you can make fun of them, and that's the most powerful thing. That's certainly the way that we use. There's a lot of people that use rage and screaming. We would rather laugh and make fun of them because ridiculing them is a uniquely American thing. Some of the original pamphlets that were handed out inside of colonial taverns, these were pamphlets, and they were memes, essentially. They were drawings of King George. They were drawings of the English Empire. It was ridiculing. It was totally illegal to criticize the king, and it was ridiculing the powerful. It's how the American Revolution kicked off, by memeing, by making fun, and that's why our founders codified the ability to have a free press, to have free association, to criticize in our Constitution, and that's why we proudly carry that banner forward into the modern era by making fun of Jen Psaki, and we're proud that Ron DeSantis made fun of Jen Psaki there with the margarita. Laugh. She was such great meme material. She was such a humiliation to our national conversation. She was a liar. She was often very snippy. She has no moral clarity. She had no moral authority. But it was really fun because she was really bad at her job. And she's handing off this doomed ghost ship. She's handing off the Titanic. It's already struck the iceberg. It's taken on water. And she's going, hey, Jean Carine, here you go. Oh, yes. Joe Biden interpreter going over to Jean Carine. Well, it's Friday, so we say, good luck, you know? Good luck. End of an era. Jen Psaki. Luckily, she will be still in front of the camera on whatever ridiculous little show she gets, the Circle Back show. Jen, invite us on. We'd love to go through some of our favorite moments with you, and we look forward to criticizing the Circle Back show. We sure it'll be CNN Plus level, can't miss television. Can't wait for Jen's dozens of viewers to circle back and watch her again. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been the end of an era, and we say sayonara to Jen, but the press conferences will continue. Jean-Karine Pierre will be there, and she'll be lying, but she's just not as good of a liar. She's just not up to it. So Pippi Longstocking off into the sunset, Chucky sharpening her knives, Peppermint Patty, sayonara. We will remain, however, here on The Benny Show. We ain't going nowhere because we have our priorities straight. God, family, country. That's what we care about on this show. And we love America and we love you. And we just want to say thank you for watching. You were born a free man. You were born a free woman. And we are all going to stay that way as long as we are coordinating and creating a community that works together to save this great nation that we love, and we are winning. Don't you get the sense? Don't you get the sense that we're winning? In closing here, I mean, come on. You're watching Elon Musk take over Twitter, CNN Plus collapse. Kyle Rittenhouse, we were hanging out with Kyle Rittenhouse this week. Kyle Rittenhouse is free. Jussie Smollett is guilty. Jussie Smollett went to jail. Maybe he'll even do more jail time. Who knows? We sure hope so. Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hunter Biden being prosecuted, Hillary Clinton case, Durham's rolling on. 2022 is going to be like a meteoric, biblical, just red tsunami from like the center of the earth. We're very excited. Trump endorsed candidates are winning. Trump was 22-0 in endorsements this week. J.D. Vance going to the Senate, going to shake things up. Man, we are jumping, we are jiving, we are excited. And Jen Psaki quitting. So, ladies and gentlemen, sayonara, Jen. We'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend in this beautiful, incredible country that we call America. We love this place a lot. Please enjoy it with your beautiful families. And be thankful. This is still the greatest country in the world. And got it a little bit greater now that Jen Psaki doesn't have a job anymore at the White House. My name is Benny Johnson. This has been The Benny Show. See ya.